Right now, you're probably thinking about how fast this year went, how it feels like you blinked and suddenly it's December again. And if you're over 30, you know exactly what I mean. A year used to feel like forever. Now it feels like a season. But here's the thing, time hasn't actually changed speed. Your brain has. And the reason why is way more interesting than you probably think. When you were 10 years old, 1 year represented 10% of your entire life, a massive chunk. Your brain treated it like this huge, important thing. But when you're 40, 1 year is only 2.5% of your life. Your brain perceives it as proportionally smaller. It's not that time is moving faster, it's that the percentage of your life that each year represents keeps shrinking, so your brain logs it as shorter. But wait, there's another layer to this, and this one completely changes how you experience every single day. When you're young, everything is new, everything. You're learning what colors are, what taste means, what gravity does. Your brain is encoding thousands of novel experiences into memory every single day. All these brand new pathways, all this new data. When your brain is busy encoding that much information, the present moment stretches out. It feels longer. A summer break at age 8 felt infinite because every single day was brand new information. Now, as an adult, your life has become routine. You probably drive the same route to work. You eat similar foods. You see mostly the same people. Your brain stops encoding all these experiences into long-term memory because it's already logged them. They're not novel anymore, so the days blur together. Your brain doesn't feel like it's recording much, so in retrospect, it feels like those days moved faster. Your brain barely documented them. Here's something crazy though. If you want to actually slow down your perception of time, you need to do something unusual. Travel somewhere you've never been, learn something completely new, have conversations with people you don't know. Because the moment you introduce novelty back into your life, your brain starts encoding again. The present moment stretches out. Suddenly, a week feels longer because a lot actually happened. Your brain has data to file. This is why childhood summers felt eternal. You were learning constantly. But it's also why most adults feel like their 30s, 40s, and 50s blend together into one long blur. Not because time is actually moving faster, but because your brain stopped treating each day like it was worth recording. There's one more thing that makes this worse as you age, and this one's about attention. When you're younger, you have what's called attentional novelty. You notice things, you pay attention to details, you watch the world like you're trying to understand it, because you are. But as an adult, your brain becomes efficient. It stops paying close attention to things it thinks it already understands. You drive somewhere and don't remember the drive because your brain was on autopilot. You eat lunch and don't taste it because you've tasted thousands of lunches. Your brain is basically saying, I already have this filed. I don't need to pay attention. And here's the wild part. The less attention you pay to something while it's happening, the shorter it feels, both in the moment and in memory, because attention is literally how your brain marks something as significant. If you're not paying attention, it's not being recorded properly. It's like you didn't actually experience it. So time doesn't actually accelerate as you age. Your brain just stops treating each moment like it matters. It stops encoding them. It stops paying attention. Days that aren't encoded feel like they pass faster because, in some sense, for your brain, they basically don't exist. Now, here's what's genuinely unsettling about this. If you're 35 and feeling like the years are flying by, statistically speaking, you've already lived almost half your life, not in terms of age, but in terms of novel experiences that your brain is actually encoding and turning into memories. Because once your brain stops treating things as new and worth paying attention to, those years might as well not have happened. They'll disappear into a blur. But this is also the good news, because it means you have complete control over this. You can deliberately slow down your perception of time, not by changing time itself, that's impossible, but by forcing your brain to start paying attention again. Take a different route to work. Learn an instrument you've never touched. Have a conversation with a stranger. Travel somewhere that makes you uncomfortable. Read something challenging. The moment you introduce genuine novelty back into your routine, your brain starts encoding again. Time stretches out. Days feel longer because they actually contain more recorded experience. The people who report that their 50s and 60s feel like they're moving at normal speed, they're usually the ones who kept learning, who kept challenging themselves, who stayed curious. Their brains never stopped encoding. Meanwhile, people who settled into routine feel like they've lost entire decades. So the question isn't really why does time feel faster as you age? The question is, are you paying attention? Because if you're not, the next 10 years are going to disappear just like the last 10 did. But if you start introducing novelty again, if you force your brain to notice, to learn, to be challenged, then suddenly you have your time back. The years start to feel longer because they actually contain more lived experience. You can't change the speed of time, but you absolutely can change how much of it you actually experience. And that might be the most important thing you realize all year.